Hi, Kathleen here, and welcome to more content from the Guilds of Ravnica pre-release. I am here with Sam Gallio, aka RhysticStudies on YouTube, and we are here to build a sealed pool just like you'll be able to do at your very own pre-release coming up next week. So first of all, Sam, we have 2 packs here for you to choose from. Choose your guild. You can either build House Dimir or the Boros Legion.
So I was lucky enough to play against Kathleen, and she built a really awesome Surveil deck, and it is extremely on brand for us just to stick to blue-black because it's 2/3 of Grixis for me. So the clear choice, yes.
Okay, let's build Dimir.
I think it's the Dimir. So yeah, let's pop the box and see what's inside. So Kathleen, we noticed that, I guess when we were playing, your deck, almost all of the cards in her deck had the word Surveil on them. And there were a couple of those, there were a couple of the payoff cards that triggered with Surveil. How did it feel to play with that mechanic in general?
Even if I wasn't winning, I was doing great stuff.
Yeah.
So like, as long as you get to do the flavorful thing, it's quite fun. Yep. Ooh. So, and then the neat thing about the pre-release packs is because they want you to be able to do the flavorful thing for the guild that you want to play, it's 5 packs and 1 special pack just for your guild. So in this case, Dimir. So,
yep.
Ooh.
So right away is one of the cooler cards. This is Connive and Concoct.
Ooh.
And a nice foily version. I like this a lot because it is a gain control of target creature with CMC 2 or less, I do believe. Or you just get to regrow something. So if you're splashing green with something like Overgrowth, if you're playing like a Soul type builds, then that could be a really sweet card. So I probably will play this because the split cards are generally pretty good.
I'm just going to turn it this way so
perfect.
other people can see it a bit better.
Cool. So specifically inside of the seeded pool, there should be a lot of blue-black cards that we like. The lockets were awesome. Being able to draw cards late is really sweet. This thing got out of hand. It was like a high target for me to kill this because Menace, Flying Menace is pretty decent.
Yeah, people definitely wanted to kill just throw anything like more spicy on the card overlay.
Yep.
But yeah, I feel like the Dimir Spybug will either get the job done or bait a deadweight out of your opponent's hand if they got one.
Yep. This is a card I ran in my black deck. Very strong. I'm going to play it particularly for the discovery side. Sinister Sabotage is a card that you also enjoyed.
I thought it did a lot of good work.
Yeah, and mostly we have a lot of blue-black cards in here.
Oh!
This card's fantastic, yeah.
This is the common I am most excited about in this set, probably.
Yep. So, I mean, just looking at some of these cards, we have like 5 playables right away, plus a Guild's Gate. So
the Whisper Adept is actually very good because it's got the flash, so you can fix your draw.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So you flash it in as a blocker. Maybe it trades or eats something.
This 5-drop, also pretty decent at Surveils. Man, these cards are awesome. These cards are actually really good. I played Muse Drake in my deck. ETB draw card is very strong. And finally, your Veiled Shade was 2 mana to pump a creature is really an excellent rate. So I might be playing that too. So I'm going to clean up this area before we get into our real packs and just put the highly playable cards here in this pile, which is like most of the seeded packs. So already I'm feeling super good about where we are. Let's get into one of the best parts of Magic. The new pack smell.
Huff those fumes.
Huff those fumes. So looking for blue and black cards. Deadweight sticks out right away. The card's super playable. Quasi-duplicates.
What does that
Almost
do?
a duplicate. Yeah, create a token that's a copy of target creature you control and you can jumpstart it.
Oh.
For 3 mana. We got another Guild Gate too, so that looks really sweet.
Helpful.
Yep. And because there are so many Guild Gates and whatnot in this format, you can fix and play, you can splash a 3rd color pretty easily. So I'm going to put this in the playable pile, the quasi-duplicates. Other than that, what are some other standout cards in here? Selective Snare is not really where I want to be. Direct Current, if we do play some sort of Grixis build, is a pretty decent removal spell. It looks underwhelming and it's kind of hard to splash because there's 2 pips, but it might make the cut. We're definitely going to put a dead weight into our deck as well. So.
I think you had what was the green-black Golgari card that you had in there?
Oh yeah, so Undercity Uprising, yeah,
it's
pretty interesting. It gives your whole team Death Touch, and then you can have a fight. This would be really cool in like an Abzan token deck. I was just thinking of like if you have a bunch of 1/1 soldiers or something, and you can just one-side board wipe and trade your tokens for like their best creatures would be really cool. So it's a potential. I think that card is just better if you have a lot of creatures, like quantity versus quality of creatures. So
because as a fight, it's a little expensive.
Yeah, it really is. And at least in something like our deck, giving our creatures Death Touch is decent, but it's a sorcery, and so they're not going to be blocking. And all of our creatures are usually like 1 and 2 power, so they're not really alpha striking for the win off of something like that. So yeah,
like I had that in my my pool, and I was like, I might be able to bring this in, and then never did.
Yeah, I really like Notion Rain. I think you had 2 of these in your pool. Very strong card, very playable, and I don't mind. Okay, so we cracked the green-white shock, but we're not going to play Selesnya.
Ooh,
we did find a guild gate, so if we do want to splash red, that's possible. Anything else stick out to you here, Kathleen?
From the green. I don't know Mood Dark Painter, but...
Yeah, the Mood Mark Painter.
Yeah, they also... But you did have in the uncommon slot, you have the Okran Assassin, which is the green-black Death Touch lure creature.
That's right.
If you have any way of pumping that creature up, I feel like that is a good way of clearing through a lot of just, getting the finals punch in to win the game.
Yeah, this takes a 1/1 counter that was pointed out on stream very well, because then you get to kill at least 2 creatures on the opponent's side. But if you don't have enchantments, there are very few auras, like buffing auras, then it kind of feels bad to run that, because it's just a straight 1/1.
Not a lot of equipment in this set either.
Yeah, there's that glaive, and I think that's it. I would really like to, given I mean, we don't have any splashable white cards quite yet, but this is very strong, and it wouldn't... you could splash white for a card like this because removal's removal, and I wouldn't mind that. So I'm going to put that in the maybe pile if we do decide to splash. But otherwise, I don't think we found anything that's like super good for our deck. Potentially the Mood Mark Painter, because Undergrowth works well with our Surveil mechanic, but we'll see if we need a 4-drop creature or something like that. So other than Notion Rain, and then is it Guildgate if we do want to go red?
I feel like the Wall of Mist is not where you want to be in this deck. Like, you want something with some power?
Yeah.
And that might Surveil when it comes in?
Yeah. If there is a super fast red-white deck, it's a decent sideboard card, you know?
Oh,
wow! So that card is worth splashing green for sure.
Absolutely.
Card's insane. We also found an Amara, so this was a really sweet pack.
Whoa!
Yeah, it was a decent pack, but the Charnel Troll can get out of hand, insane amount. So
yeah,
it works well with Surveil too, so... This is definitely the green-white Convoke engine, because you can tap Amara for the Convoke costs and just generate tokens off of her if she doesn't come in early. She's a really sweet card for that deck. But Charnel Troll is something we perhaps definitely play, and that might be our 3rd color. So
very splashable.
Other than that, I see some Leapfrog is a good card. We're not going to play that.
Never happened. I feel like is a good sideboard card.
Yeah.
If you're like, oh, I just can't deal with that.
Yeah. If I was playing like against your hexproof creature, I would love to have that on the play.
There's another Muse. Oh, another Deadweight.
And Whispering Snitch is
that's good.
Yeah, this card's really sweet. So this is like Blood Artist for Surveil, or like Zulaport Cutthroat, those kinds of effects. It has a really decent sized back end, right? It doesn't die to Deadweight, and you're never going to attack with something like this. You're just going to sit behind your big butted creatures and Surveil a bunch.
You'll just hold the board down.
Yep. So I'm putting Deadweight and Muse Drake in there as well. Otherwise, that's about it.
You also have a Golgari split card.
This card is awesome if we're gonna splash green. Both sides are relevant, and the first side you can play even without splashing green.
So, yeah, status target creature gets +1/+1 against Death Touch till end of turn. Excellent. And statue is just unconditional removal for enchantments, which is so important to have in a black deck.
Yep. Yep. The enchantments clause is very strong. It gets rid of luminous bonds and the 3 and a blue flash enchantment that keeps your creatures tapped down. Or you just destroy target creature at instant speed, which you can never.
I see.
Yes. We both love this card,
Yeah,
I think.
I feel like this is Sam and Kathleen's pet card of the format.
Yep, yep. Hypothesis might be awesome. It's a card draw engine and it deals some damage. So if we do decide to go to red, then that's a potential option too. Plus, it's just fun to say. So Dimir Locket is the first pick if we were drafting something like this for our deck here. Sprouting Renewals. Okay, and then another Guild's Gate. So our mana is going to be very good, which means I hope we do find that that Dimir uncommon, the flying death touch, you know, hexproof guy.
I also see in that pack there's a Prey Upon,
so,
which could be good if you go into green. The Bartizan Bats, which I feel are totally fine.
Sure, yeah. It trades up with any of the flyers if you can't deal with them in the air. Otherwise, you do have a 3/1.
Which is kind of crummy, but it does, like, I feel like it does a lot of work.
Yeah, and then this is the keyword soup if we were in the red-white
deck. That was
deck.
our preview card.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because it got discounted, right? Some people were posting the 3-mana version.
Yeah.
You gotta stay to the end of the video. So Bartizan Bats is what you were looking at is the best potential. It's a 4-drop, you know, it's a 4-drop flyer, so.
I think it's fine.
I think it's fine too.
C.
I think it's a C, a straight C, you know. Bottom
Sometimes
of the barrel
you need a
C.
flyer.
I do think we're going to play this card for sure, and I think we probably will play the Locket depending on what the rest of our pack looks like, or the rest of the packs. But overall, I would like one big finisher. You know, this deck, if it relies on Surveil and kind of dirtily creatures, you do want the top-end finisher like in any blue-black control deck. So far, we haven't hit it except for that Troll if we're going to go green. Vidalkin, there are Vidalkin on Ravnica. Today I learned. Dowser of Lights, another Locket. Darkblade Agent is in our colors.
What does Devious Cover-Up do?
Devious Cover-Up, a new artist to the game, shows up and slams it on their first commission. Devious Cover-Up is a counterspell, 2 and a blue, counter target spell. If it's countered, exile it instead of putting it into its owner's graveyards, and then you can put 4 target cards from your graveyard into your library. So ideally, you're regrowing all those Surveil things that you pitched away if you would like. And it is up to. So Gatekeeper Gargoyle, speaking of a card that could probably just go in any deck because the raid is fine. If you're running even just one guild or one gate, you have a 4/4 flyer for 6 of any color.
That's very fine.
Yeah, and if we're playing these 3 guild gates, we might have a 5/5 or at best a 6/6, so who knows. So I probably will play that. That's decent enough as a finisher at the top end.
Oh!
We do have a mythic, but we can't cast non-creature spells if we splash for that, eh? Yep.
And it's 2 green.
And it's 2 green.
I gotta read this card. I haven't seen it before.
Go
All I
for
saw
it.
was the symbol.
Yep.
2. Oh, hey. Nullhide Ferox loses all abilities until end of turn, which will get rid of the hexproof and you can't cast non-creature spells. Any player may activate this ability. If an opponent or a spell or an ability an opponent controls causes you to discard Nullhide Ferox, put it into your battlefield instead of putting it into the graveyard. An opponent controls. That's very... I have no idea how to evaluate this card,
right?
Sam.
I know, it's a 6/6 hexproof with a bunch of weird, like, you know, hoops you have to jump through. Yeah, I don't know. If you're in the just like fast green deck, I would slam it immediately because the because of the... Did I lose my mic? Paul, we still? No, we're good. Cool. Because of the, you know, the hexproof, 6/6 hexproof is huge.
This is very hard to deal with.
Yeah, it is. It is. Hexproof is eternally hard to deal with.
You're gonna have to like probably double block that at the best case scenario.
Yeah. I agree. Unless there's Death Touchers on the other side. So.
And maybe when you get that out, you're just like, I'm done casting spells. I'm turning man sideways.
Yeah. You can always like sandbag that if you want. Some more cards that stood out for me from that pack. The Guild Gates, if we want to go into Sultai. Crawl Swarm. Okay, so this card's really funky. It's a 4/1 flyer for 4 and a black, and you can pay 2 and a black to discard a creature card and return it from your graveyard to your hand.
Interesting.
So it can fuel Undergrowth. It can switch out cards from your hand and to regrow it. But yeah, it's really funky. I don't think I'm going to play it.
I feel like you want that if you have a lot of undergrowth synergy is the problem.
Yep. Yeah. This is one of those that can play multiple roles, but is better in the black-green deck exclusively. Same with this. I know that this card looks funky, but this is an undergrowth fueler, and having a 4/4 on every turn is surprisingly effective at blocking on the ground. Notably, you have to discard a creature card to make it a 4/4, so careful with that. It's not any card.
Oh, but it becomes a 4/4 trample.
Yeah, it gains trample, so yeah, it's very strong. It's a perfect engine for what you want to do. Lastly, if we want to splash red, this card is awesome in terms of, removal. So this is something that would push me into red as well. So we're gonna look at the blue-black. We're just gonna look at strictly blue-black to try to remain consistent, but since it's sealed, ideally, you probably can slow it down a little bit and splash for the third color.
Well, I feel like you have a good reason, and the fixing, at least, to go into blue-black-green or blue-black-red at this point, depending on what you feel like. And then there's some other cards from your pack, but I feel like those are more like maybe sideboard cards.
Yeah, an awesome sideboard card that I think might start showing up against the Selesnya tokens kind of strategies that rely on Convoke is something like this. And being able to like pull that and have that in the sideboard is super strong. So nothing to bat an eye at. Let's organize these by CMC. I like to do creatures on the bottom and non-creatures on top, so...
You monster.
We shall
always
see.
do creatures on the top and non-creatures
on the
bottom.
Here we go. I am from America, right? We have to do things slightly differently.
Well, you're not playing lands before spells.
Never. That's true. Never, ever. I'm not that blasphemous, okay? So we'll take all these things, put them on the side, concentrate on the good stuff, which is blue-black spells. All right. Obviously, as well, because it is sealed, we might be able to play some of these higher drop cards and just hope we don't get paired up against the red-white mentor deck, But we discussed it today a bit on the podcast. Like, red-white existing is, geez, are we just going to play this?
I feel like it's so good.
It's so strong. Yeah, I'm going to put it there. I think we're going to definitely play it, especially because we have this. So... but yeah, red-white in the format means you can't dirtle forever. You have to put some bodies on the ground early, or just play a couple dead weights. So what is our best target for something like that? Let's put that here, and just as we lay these cards out.
Yeah, is it worth running?
Yeah, I think it's going to be. I think our creatures are just good enough that we want a couple copies. Even copying a Muse Drake twice would be super sweet. That's kind of my magic.
The nice thing about Jumpstart on that is it's basically 2 copies of the same spell. So you can copy a Muse Drake once and then maybe use it early. And then it's sitting there later for you.
Yeah, that's true. That's super true. Split cards, you never know what CMC they're going to be. Depends on which side you prioritize. So this might be a 2-drop. So I'm just going to put it in the 2-drop slot. Another Muse Drake. A Watcher in the Mist, so we have a nice curve forming. Artful Takedown is another removal spell. Notably, especially with the Troll out, we can cast something like this for the other side, because it's Surveil 3, then return a creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. So you could cheat out a higher CMC creature after discarding it with Charnel Troll. Like if you go turn 3 Charnel Troll and discard a 6-drop, and then you can just regrow the 6-drop later. It seems super cool. So... another Locket, the Spy Bug, and Sinister Sabotage. So, like all the decks that I end up building, I'm just super heavy on the 3-drop slot. It's a curse of mine. We're going to try to fix that. So right now we have, I'm going to keep this as 4 and potentially 5.
I feel like in this build here, I would want to run Status Statue, because this is unconditional removal, which you don't have a lot of right now.
I'm going to put it at 4 because that's where it is the best.
Yeah.
So how many instances of Surveil do we have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4 somewhere in there. Oh, that surveils. Yep, yeah, the second half of it surveils. And then this will trigger off of those.
Whisper Agent surveils.
Whisper Agent surveils. This will trigger if we have surveilled. So we don't have that many surveils.
Watcher in the Mist.
And then the Watcher in the Mist. Not as many as we had in your pool.
No,
for
my
your
pool
game.
was bonkers.
Yeah. So let's see, let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23.
Wow.
We have 23 cards here. Yep, call it a day.
I think actually though in this deck,
Yeah.
I would run quasi-duplicate over devious cover-up. And
yeah.
here's why. Because I feel like Watcher in the Mist is a pretty good it's a pretty good target for your to make a duplicate, because when it enters the battlefield, you get to surveil too. So that's another surveil trigger for you, and it also just sort of fixes your draw a little bit. Like if you're playing that late in the game and you're like, I need to get gas and not land.
Yeah. Yep.
And you get a relevant 3/4 flying body.
Yeah.
Whereas it's hard. I find it just hard to leave up 4 mana for a counter.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, this is a little more proactive as well. It creates threats, and yeah, I agree. We also just have a counter spell if we really need it. So I'm gonna take out one of the lockets. I think you just want to run one in general.
Because you also have the did you not get a Notion Rain?
Yeah, we have Notion Rain here too.
Okay, good.
So if we are splashing green, I can look through my pool again to see if there are. So far, it's only 2 pips on green that we care about. We can see if there's another decent card for green, and how many guild gates do we want to run is the question.
I feel like if you're running, I feel like in this format, you were prioritized to run as many guild gates as possible.
Yeah. So we have 4 right now.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, pumping up the Gatekeeper Gargoyle, which means we're going to be on the slower end in a deck like this. So, if we want to go slow, this is a decent 5-drop. It's a vanilla 4/5 for 5, but we don't have anything else in that slot except for Watcher in the Mist. What else could we pick out of here?
What does I don't know about Prey Upon, because your creatures are low power.
Yeah, they're not very good. This is in a deck that's for Prey Upon. Did something else catch your eye?
Well, I was thinking that there's the Generous Stray. What does that do when it enters the battlefield?
ETB draw card. Yeah, this card's super good. I mean, it's definitely splashable, and it keeps the cards rolling. So
that as a possibility. I think I prefer the Devourer of Lights to that, honestly.
Okay, or the Dowser of Lights.
Or Dowser of Lights, yeah. Just because
Yeah. Cool. I think we're almost there. Alternatively, I think this is going to be kind of a staple if you want to go like 3 colors, especially in a draft environment. It cantrips when it enters, and it fixes your mana, so that's nothing to bat an eye at,
Oh, I'm so wary of fixing also my splash.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true too. See, that's something I would do. The super greedy play.
Oh yeah, I can splash green, and then green's got fixing.
Yes.
It's like, oh my god, 3 green sources.
Yeah. Otherwise, yeah, I don't think there's anything else. This is a decent deck. We're really relying on. I would actually like to play the 5-drop. And what does it look like if we do play the Generous Stray? How many are we at? Do we have to cut one if we do something like this?
Now we're into cuts.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 creatures is a good amount. 17, 18, 19, 21, 22, 23, 24. Did I count that right? 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So we do have to cut 1. We have to cut a card, and
I mean, that's 1, 2 for 3. It doesn't. I would cut the Stray, even though I do love cats.
Oh, but it draws a card.
So does a Muse Drake. And it's got better stats, and it flies.
Imagine drawing a card into drawing a card into drawing a card, and then quasi-duplicating to draw a card.
I mean, I saw you draw 4 cards in a single turn.
That was the nicest thing ever.
That was bonkers.
Yeah. So yeah, I agree though. Like maybe we just don't play the cat, and we play perhaps. I wish we did have more surveil for these surveil triggers.
What was in the rest of your pre-release pack there? I think you had like a Dazzling Light, which is a -0, -3, or -3, -0.
Dazzling Lights. Target creature gets -3/-0 until and surveil 2.
That's not bad.
Yeah, that's not bad at all. That's not bad at all.
And that was about it.
Yeah, I don't remember where I put the deck specifically. Devious cover up.
All right. Oh, and then you have 2 copies of Dazzling Lights.
Yep.
But I feel like you're not. Oh,
maybe even
Hired
the one.
Poisoner.
Yeah, Hired Poisoner is sweet in a deck like this that just wants to block and trade. How many sources of removal do we have? Like 3? 1, 2,
4.
4. Okay.
That's like more conditional.
Yeah, more conditional.
And then you have the Sinister Sabotage.
Yeah.
Just to be late. That's removal in its own kind of way.
Yeah. Touche. I'm gonna get rid of Generous Stray. There's an argument to keep it. And then perhaps you play this. Like I would say like you can put this in against the aggressive red-white decks and cut out one of the top ends, right?
Yeah,
just to lower your curve a little bit. But for now, like this is a 23 card playable, pretty decent base Dimir deck that's splashing for Charnel Troll, and it has excellent fixing. So yeah, the way you win the game in something like this is early interactions and making sure your creatures are valuable and have enter the battlefield effects or decent stats, and get to the late game and like have an unbeatable flyer
or just use your Pass Wall Adept to make any of these unblockable.
Yeah, that card's going to be secretly a pain in the butt to beat.
Correct.
So I like this. Our pack was sweet. I'm excited to try that out if we're playing this deck. And add lands, say go, and end battle, right?
That's awesome.
Yep.
All right, well, that's it. And I think the deck looks sweet. So I'm Kathleen for Loading Ready Run. Please check out Sam's YouTube channel, RhysticStudies. And thank you so much to WotC for sponsoring this. And why not build your own sealed pool at the pre-release coming up very soon. Thanks. Bye.
Thank you.